Today we are unboxing the H-Calorie Toolbox Diesel. They call it a car parking heater, but basically a portable heater. A lot of the people on our channel, either you're an outdoor enthusiast or if you're watching this on Jeeps on the Run, a lot of people do tent camping, overlanding. This is a great heater, I think. We're gonna unbox it together. That's gonna be great for traveling and compact. So we did look at some of this stuff earlier. So we're gonna go through this together. Charlie, why don't you pull off the styrofoam? There we go. All right, so you've got a heater, and then you've got, we're gonna put this to the side for a second.
Your accessories?
You've got accessories. So the cool thing about this is it looks like the heat comes out of this end.
No, it's here.
Nope, he's right, it's that end. And this is like a 4-inch ducted hose. So almost like any kind of dryer vent. And then you've got, if you want to permanently mount something, you can. You've got a power cord. If you want to power this from 12 volts, you can do that.
From a battery.
Battery. You've got intake and exhaust hoses, an intake filter, so to speak. You've got some hose clamps to do all of those things. This may be a mount of some sort. I bet you could mount this thing down if you want to. Honestly, I don't know yet. A muffler.
Or could that be to run lines?
Maybe that's to mount the lines. We'll find out. And power. What I know about this thing so far is it looks like it can run up to about 50 hours on a full tank of fuel. And there was a previous version to this. And from what I understand, this one's got a better heater in it. And it's got an onboard internal fuel tank. So if you open this, you've got, first of all, you've got room to put your power adapters and all of some of your accessories under here. You do also have a wireless remote, and this also runs off of an app. You can control everything from your phone via Bluetooth. So we are going to dig in. Let's install this. We're not going to worry about this right now. We probably should put the muffler on it, right?
Yeah, and then you want to angle that condensation vent down.
Oh yeah, so there is a little weep hole in here, to Charlie's point. Make sure that is pointing down so gravity can take the condensation out. So why don't you go take that, and let me get you some hose clamps. Would you grab a screwdriver?
Flathead or Phillips?
We are going to be Phillips. I will say these hose clamps, so far, if I was doing this for keeps, or doing this for like a permanent installation, I should say, could you find a cheaper screwdriver, Charlie? I would probably invest in some better hose clamps. These definitely look like the longevity is going to be not well. That's my only feedback so far. That's fine. All right, so this is the exhaust side on your side, right?
Yep.
Let's go ahead and close that back up. So while Charlie's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and fill this guy up with some fuel. Remember when they actually had fuel tanks that didn't suck? This ventless stuff is for the birds. We've got our diesel in there. Go ahead and put the cap back on. We're going to run through a startup and see how loud it is, what kind of heat we get. All right, so at this point, the only thing we've done is we've hooked up the exhaust, we've put fuel in it, and we've plugged it in. Now, in theory, this is where the intake would go. You'd hook up this hose, and you'd pick up an intake. You could shorten this up. Just for right now, it looks like this is kind of a pain in the butt. I'm not going to lie, to put this hose clamp on, because the hose clamp falls inside this recessed area. So a little ratchet wrench might be acceptable. So I'm just leaving that off for the time being. So now to turn this on, you go ahead and push power. Now, you have to prime the pump in order to start it first. So you're going to hold these two buttons here. Oop, I'm sorry. Thanks, Charlie. We're going to hold these two buttons here. You can see the fuel coming up here, or coming down, I should say. So it says to hold it for about 10-15 seconds, and that's going to prime the pump. Now my guess is you probably only have to do this really the first time, or if you're running dry for whatever reason. So we're going to go ahead and stop that. Now to turn it on, you just go ahead and hold the power button. The fan is going to kick on, and then you've got a little light here showing the glow plug is activating. So the fan's on, you got a little light there showing your glow plug's activated. So depending on the ambient temperature, this is where it's going to take its power to actually start heating up the heat element and getting the heater going. So depending on how much, what your ambient temperature is, this is going to depend on how long this process takes. So we can hear the fuel pump kicking in. So while we're waiting for this thing to heat up, what I want to mention is, so this is the intake for your ambient air. This is the intake for the heater, the motor. So this is all of the raw air it's going to draw in from both the heater and the motor. And then your exhaust side basically is going to be where your engine exhaust, your diesel exhaust, and then the heat comes out. So it's probably hard to see, but we do have some exhaust coming out of here. I do have air coming out of here. So let's see what so right now, the heat exchanger is about 90 degrees. Heat exchanger is about 100 degrees, and you could just hear it kicking in. So it's going 115. So it's set to 1, so crank it all the way up, Charlie.
All right, level 10.
So it's up to level 10 now, and as you can see, this thing is, I don't want to melt the table here.
Oh, there's some black smoke now.
So we're at 123. It sounds like it goes up to about 212 degrees in 10 minutes is what it says. And it will tell you, oh, there it is, we're at 200. Well, that's the heat exchanger, but let's kind of just do the air coming out of it. So the air coming out of it is like 120, 116. Your heat exchanger is 230, 220. It's going, it's heating up fast. So the way this is designed is you can put the heater inside your tent or inside your cabin or where you're going to be, and you could vent the exhaust out, or you could leave everything outside and duct this in. So Charlie, hand me that, oh here, right here. So like, let's say you wanted to duct this into your tent. So go ahead and put that on there. And then if you want to do something more permanent, you have a vent, like maybe you've got an RV or whatever, you could vent it in. And it's really warm. Let's see where we're at. So the air coming out of there is about 143 degrees. And it's definitely warm. There's no question about it. And it's very quiet. So I'm going to put my mic right next to it here. And the only thing that you really hear is the fan noise. So if this thing was outside, you would not hear much noise. All right, so let's talk about the function for a minute. So you've got this remote here. If I hit up, you can see it's toggling up the fan here, or the temperature. H6, 5, 4, 3. So as the temperature changes, the fan speed will automatically change accordingly. So if you had this thing set up outside, you could literally toggle the thing on and off and toggle the temperature directly from this wireless remote. You also can do it from an app, which we're going to show you in a second. But here's the other thing that's cool is, so this can do a few things. You can operate this in basically like a high, medium, low function, or you can operate it as a thermostat function. All right, so we've got the app on our phone here. It's downloaded H-Calorie, and it literally just Bluetooth connects seamlessly. So now we're just going to show you a few things. So you can change this to, so let's change this to thermostat mode, Charlie. So click on mode change, and then you can go to temperature or gear, or hit temperature rather, right?
No.
So now, if you look up here, it tells me it's set for 61 degrees. So we can set that for, let's set it for 85 degrees, 86 degrees. So now this is more like the thermostat in your home. Now the one thing you should be mindful of is, so it will automatically change the fan speed and everything to get to that temperature. But like a thermostat, it's going to pick up the temperature in which this is, where this is located. Now you can take this off and relocate it somewhere in your living area, but the cords it comes with, and it does come with an extension cord, aren't incredibly long, so be mindful that this needs to be where you are. So if you scroll through this, that's telling me my heat exchanger temperature at 439 degrees. Hit OK, That tells me the voltage. So if you're hooked up to a battery, that's telling you the voltage that it's getting. So 13 volts. That's my room temperature. I'm at 80 degrees in my garage right now. And let's see, we hit it. And I'm set for 86. So it's now I'm set for 90. So I know my intake temperature was about 80. Heat exchanger was about 400 some degrees, and my set temperature is 90 degrees. Now this little mountain here, if you hold these two, it will automatically, so that disappeared. So think of a carburetor when you're snowmobiling or when you're doing something up in the mountains. You always got to rejet your carburetor for fuel consumption. If you put the little mountain on, this unit will automatically calibrate depending on what sea level you're at. So it kind of tells you right there your sea level indication right there. We did figure out what these are for. This would mount here. You've got one on the front and you've got one on the back. Charlie, just put that through there, kind of show them what it would be. So that would mount there, your intake, that's going to go down there. And so you can basically hang your intake and exhaust from those clamps if that was a situation you wanted to. Now a few things. Let's talk about shutting down. So we'll just cheat. You can do it from your remote, you can do it from here, or you can do it from your app. So we're gonna hit off. Now off has a process. It's gonna start cooling down. You're actually gonna see the glow plug come back on. There's the glow plug. The glow plug is gonna come back on to burn off any fuel that's been left on the glow plug itself. So when you go to start next time, it's a nice clean glow plug. So it's gonna cycle down, and then the fan should actually come back on just to cool everything off. But at this point, you don't want to just unplug it. You want to let it go through its shutdown cycle, if you will. All right, so the fan just came on. So it's still part of its shutdown cycle. This takes a few minutes. Just let it do its thing. You can still feel it's pulling in cool air to probably cool off the heat exchanger. Let everything cool down, and then it'll indicate when you can go ahead and actually unplug it or remove power. But the cool thing about, still active. The screen just kind of goes dark. But the cool thing about this is if you have this connected somewhere, and as long as it's got power, you can actually key it on from the app or the remote. And let's say this thing was outside and you had it piped into your tent or into your RV, you wouldn't have to come out here to turn it on or off, which is pretty cool. This definitely puts out plenty of hot air. It's actually super quiet, super impressive. And the construction of this thing is pretty slick. Check this out. So it's made of mostly all plastic, but it's really rigid. Think of like a protective toolbox or heavy duty case. And then you've got spots under here to put storage or put your accessories when you're not using it. I'm not sure from a maintenance standpoint quite what it needs, but here, this is what I was talking about earlier. You do have some extra cable wound up here if you did want to remove your thermostat. And I think there's even Charlie, grab that. Is there an extension in there? I think it comes with for even more cable.
Yeah, here's if you even want to get the thermostat further away from that.
Yeah, and I think that's what that is. Yeah, it is. So we've got even probably another 3 or 4 feet. So if you want to move that thermostat even further away. So again, the thermostat could be kind of like your home. You set the temperature and it will automatically adjust. So that feature is really cool, and it does come with some extra cable you can use. From a maintenance standpoint, I'm really not sure what else. It does look like, that's probably the fuel pump. There is a fuse in here somewhere I saw, but otherwise it looks pretty basic, pretty hands off. So Charlie's gonna cut the zip tie off this thing and see. So go ahead and pull it off there. Let's see what it looks like. Here you go. This is the part we were talking about.
Oh, and now looks like the fan's idling down.
Fan's idling down. But this would be the thermostat. If you wanted to take this part off and put it into your tent or RV, you could, and there is some extra wiring to do that. Okay, so now the cool down process is done. You can see it's gotten the fans turned off, everything's turned off. It says just 13 volts. So now it's basically in standby mode. So if you wanted to turn it on, as long as it's plugged in, you could do it right from here or right from your app. And here's the other thing that's pretty cool, is you can set a timer. So you can have this thing turn on or off at different times. So say you're traveling and you want it to come on at 3 in the morning or whatever, you can have it automatically turn on or off at different times if you didn't want to use the thermostat. So there's a lot of different ways that you can actually function this thing to distribute heat when you want it. Guys, as always, we give honest reviews on our channel here. Being transparent, they did send us this to do a review on it, but this thing's pretty cool. I mean, you could easily heat this entire garage pretty quickly with this thing. And if you're overlanding or if you're tent camping or whatever, super small, super easy. You could power it off 12 volts. It says it's got a 50-hour runtime on 1 tank of fuel, which I'm sure that's going to vary depending on exterior temperature. But I give it 2 thumbs up. Check it out. We'll leave a link below. Great little tool to have in your arsenal of camping supplies or wherever you're trying to keep warm. So check it out. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Leave a comment below what you think of this portable toolbox heater. We'll see you in the next video.